Hi, everyone. I see it. Hi. I'm so amused. Even though my wonderful global coordinator, Severine, is not here, everyone seems to be using her login. Maybe how the links got worked out. And so I'm seeing her name on everyone's screen. So, Severine, your energy is definitely here. Very grateful for that. Um, for all of the Francophones, the translation will be later. There we are. Okay, I got your name. I will change it for you. No worries. We can also manually change it. And so one of the things that I'm really excited about today is I always love doing our seasonal calls. But this is a big marker for us because this is the most questions that have ever been sent for a Soaring Beyond Definition free call. And so I'm going to do my best to get through as many of them as I can. But bear with me, I make no promises. I'm also going to give preference to the people that are here on live, since you're made and carved out your day and made some space for us. So thank you so much for being here. I definitely got sent in so many questions. And so we're going to do our best. But a couple of announcements first. A lot of beautiful changes in 2021, a very challenging year in a lot of ways as well. For some of us, it was more challenging than 2020. But there was a lot of wonderful moments that I wanted to highlight since this is our last free Soaring Beyond Definition call of the year. We had multiple classes. We had some beautiful video series from Speak Fluent You, Kicking Distractions Butt. We talked about the elements of living. We had multiple awakening classes where people learn the living and dying body process. We've had so much vulnerability and change. We started the expansive energies groups. We have 2 English expansive energies group, 1 French expansive energies group, 1 Spanish expansive energies group. We have the virtual writing retreat, the Money Your Way group that's been reactivated post-pandemic, and when people are asking for more ideas and clarity around money, around expanding their worlds, around having their voice. And for many of us in the writing retreat, writing that voice and sharing it with the world. But sometimes we just want to be around the energy of other writers and creators, and that's fun too. So I just want to commend all of us for what we've created together in this last year. Sometimes when we are wondering if we're contributing to the world, if we're showing up enough, and I definitely have those moments where I'm like, am I doing enough? And am I looking at my gifts? Am I really using them to create my life and to create something different in the world? And then I get these check-ins at the end of the year, and I love doing this. I check in, even if we didn't have a call, I would check in. But this call definitely invites all of us to do that. So please join me in this. And I was like, oh, wow, what have I created this year? Where have I actually been looking at my gifts and capacities? What have I created that never existed before? And it doesn't have to be with business. It could be, wow, maybe you have a new relationship. Maybe you made a move and you're living somewhere else and you're creating a home. Maybe you just give birth to a child this year, a lot of babies this year. And whatever it is for you, please acknowledge that. Maybe you wrote a poem for the first time in years. I had one of my clients where they hadn't written in years and they realized that writing was a source of joy for them, and they were adding that back in again. So what did you create this year? And go ahead and put it in the chat and acknowledge it for yourself. Whatever language, I will use Google Keep and Google Translate if I need to until our translators come in. Also, we're going to have Italian translation for afterwards as well. My interpreter and translator, Loredana Gaspari, is also going to be making herself available to translate this for Italian. And if you speak another language and would like it in a different language, we have translators available to us in many other languages as well. So if you know of someone that would benefit from the messages and the tools in this, and they speak another language that we don't have interpretation and translation for yet, go ahead and ask, and we'll look into it and see if we can create that. Of course, you'll have to know what I'm saying right now to ask for that, right? But we can work it out. So the other question I wanted to ask y'all before we jump into the questions that everyone sent, I'm just amazed and blown away by this, is what would you like to receive from me and from my company, Empowering Light Language, in 2022? I love creating content, especially that will be received, that will contribute to you. I don't want to just be shooting in the dark. And so given the questions that you sent, I'm already getting a pretty good idea of some other ways that we can create together in the new year. But if there's anything else that we haven't created for you that you'd really like to have, please let me know, let the interpreters know, let the fantastical creature crew know, and we will meet about it and ask questions about it. So if you have any ideas, go ahead and put that in the chat or message me directly if you catch this by replay later. Some other announcements. In addition to the mid-January awakening class, where you get to be a certified living and dying ambassador, and you get to learn the living and dying body process I created. That class is January 15th, one day, and then a 2-hour follow-up January 23rd. We have added an additional class because some people are very interested but can't make that date. And so that class is going to be on February, let's see. Whoop, I think that I got the dates mixed up here. Oh, yes. Okay. February 20th. Yes. February 20th. And then the follow-up will be March 2nd. So the one-day class for the second option is February 20th. That's a Sunday. And then the follow-up is going to be on a Wednesday. So a little bit atypical for us for our follow-ups with the awakening class, but that's what the class wanted. So we're following the energy and going with that. And then we're also going to have, and some of you might have remembered this from last year, we're going to start off the year with a self-paced, at your own leisure, Soaring Beyond Definition with Money 14-day series. So what that includes is 14 tools directly into your email box, where you get a different tool, about 5-minute video each day, where you get to play around with receiving and creating more money your way. And so we're making that the same price as last year. I believe it was something like $30, so very affordable. And then we also have 2 live calls where you also get the replay for those live Zooms, where you get to come in and ask questions about the tools that have been sent to you in your email box. Okay, so hopefully you'll join us for one, if not all of those. And then the last announcement before we jump into our questions is I have 10 consultation spots available for the last 2 weeks of December. So I'm going to pop these links into the chat, and I will send them also in the replay email, where you get to consult with me about any area of your life and get some tailored, personalized tools. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad you're reminding yourself, and it was good to remind you about what you've created and actualized this year. Thank you for the message in the chat. The messages, and often I focus on what's next instead of celebrating, and I love that. Congratulations on being a certified Access Consciousness facilitator, and you're moved to Mexico. You wrote a book. You have also in the writing retreat. I love that you're in the writing retreat with me, and let's see who else would like to play. So for the 10 consultation spots, they're 45 minutes. You can talk about business, money, relationships, any area of your life. And then I have 2 spots left right now for my premium individual coaching clients. I only take a couple at a time because it takes a lot more work to work with you. And I'm so busy with classes and with other clients of different types, including the kiddo clients that I see in schools and in their homes. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And the consultation it'd be a good idea before signing up. But if you already know that you want to be one of my premium coaching clients, let me know and we'll get you set up and booked up with that. So onward and upward. Let me know if you have any questions about those announcements. Let's go ahead and dive into these questions. So awesome. So awesome. So I broke up the questions that were sent in into different categories just to kind of organize myself. But if you're here on live and you have a question about any of this or something else that isn't brought up, it's maybe a different category, please go ahead and put it in the chat. Again, since you're here live, you get preference. So the different categories of the questions that were sent in were creating your life, all these different questions about creating your life. There is health and body. There is money and finances, and there's relationships. And so I'm going to start with creating your life because that's the biggest overarching category. That is the questions. The most questions were sent about that. So from Ivana, thank you so much. Is going beyond any definition the same as staying always in the question? They're similar, but they're not the same. So we're in a Soaring Beyond Definition call, right? We have the Soaring Beyond Definition group, and I know you're a part of that. Thank you for being a part of that. And when I created the group and when I use Soaring Beyond Definition, it's an invitation not only to stay in the question, but it's also to follow the energy, to follow your awareness, and to be willing to have no separation between you and your body, you and your awareness, and you and others. And so definition by definition is a limitation. So it's when you're creating walls around you, when you're creating walls between what you know is possible and between you and what you know is possible. So for many of us, and given the questions that were sent in, I think this is relevant to a lot of us. And I definitely have had moments in this last year where I'm like, how in the world can I do this? Like, how is this going to show up? So that's the first one. I love that we're going to start with that because this is the call that we're in. So it's not quite the same as always staying in the question, but staying in the question is a part of soaring beyond a definition, a very important part. Thank you for the question. All right, Isabel, what is blocking my life in making a choice for a new place to live in a house in the countryside? And I don't know where I get stuck, where I'm in an apartment and I know it's becoming toxic for my body. Okay, so first and foremost, for everybody that's having anything going on with your body, please be aware of that your body's always listening. So when you're saying this is toxic to my body, it becomes even more toxic to your body. You lock it in even more versus like, body, I know this isn't ideal. I know this isn't where we'd like to be long-term, but how can we have more ease with this? How can we dissipate all this stuff that's coming up for us that we're aware of? So please, please, please be aware that your body's listening and notice the words you're using that might be creating something that you do not want to create with your body and for your life. Okay. One of the things with a new place, like I get it. I lived in Savannah way longer than I thought that I would be living here. And this would be my third and last attempt to move out. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm moving no matter what. But even when it didn't work out for me to move in the past, it did create something. I got an awareness. Often there was a crack that opened up, a door that opened, and new people, new ideas, new creations started to show up. So what could you create there that would be the launch pad, boom, for you to move to the next place. And when you're saying what is blocking me in my life to make the choice to move to the new place, well, I wonder what criteria you're using that you say, I need this before I can choose, versus I'm choosing this, and now let's have all this stuff start showing up that will move me toward that. So it's about the choosing first, and then start taking actions and steps to actualize the new place and bring it in. The other thing, and this is really common for a couple people who send in questions about how to have a new partner, how to have a new home, all these different things. Well, are you clear on what kind of partner or home or business or new job you want? So when I talk with all of my coaching clients, one of the things that I guide them through is to actually get the energy and maybe have some words for the energy of the thing that they're asking for. It's one thing to say, I'd like a new job, and then like this, and it's kind of like blurry, and you're kind of like, do I really want it? And all this other sticky, slimy stuff is in the way. But when you start getting clear on the energy of what would be like, oh my God, this is so great. Oh, even just thinking about it right now, I'm getting goosebumps, and I'm not even sure what I'm asking for. Maybe it's all of your asks that I'm perceiving, and it's like, whoo, it's giving me the yummy yummies right now. So get clear on what other attributes, other than it being in the countryside, you would like for your home. And for the person who sent in the question about, oh, how can I going to scroll. How can I have a spouse who contributes to me and to whom I can contribute to, as well as a house? So there's multiple people who are asking for a new home. How can I no longer be afraid of being invaded? And I get that's like, maybe an abuse kind of a situation where it's like you don't feel like you're going to be controlled or taken over, like to give your power away. Well, make that part of the criteria for what you're asking for. So it's just as important to get clear on what you desire and what you don't desire. So for those that answered that asked this question, send me a message so I can send you the replay for the first free call that we did. And we have this, I think, already translated, where it was the first free call of the exuberantly you in relationships. And in that, even if you're not asking for relationships, the exercise we did, you can apply to a new home, a new business, a new car, a new job, okay? So make sure that we get that to you, but please email me so that I can send that. And I'm also going to check with our translators. I'm pretty sure that we already have that translated. And it's a series of I think it was 9 calls, but the first one we offered for free to give you an idea of what the series is like. And that first exercise is very powerful and helpful so that you don't keep getting stuck on what's not showing up, and then that judgment making it go farther and farther away. Let's bring it closer again by getting clear on what you really would like and what would work for you. All right. So those are 3 questions in one. Bam. How does it get any better than that? All right. Caddy, how to become the woman my soul desires. I keep on choosing again and again to be a woman, but it's hard every time my head is spinning and I'm very tired. My friend, big hug to you. Big hug to you. Thank you for the question. Maybe it's the translation. I'm wondering, I'm going to double check on the translation because I want to make sure that I'm capturing what you're saying correctly. I'm going to double check. This might be an old translation that I did quickly and not the one from the interpreter. Okay. Okay, yes. All right. Okay, yes. Yes, okay, did get that correctly. So we have the clear information here. So what if who you are right now is absolutely perfect and you didn't have to actually change anything about you or fix anything about you? What if for all of us, and again, thank you for this question because I think a lot of us are feeling like we're not who we should be. We're not choosing what we should choose. We haven't created yet what we'd like to create. And so, awesome. And so let's invite all of us anywhere that we feel like something's wrong with us, like we have to change or fix something about ourselves. Would we be willing to let all of that go? Let's transmute it all down to pure energy. And expand out and expand out and expand out. That's the verbal clearing for the living a dying body process. Let's do that again. For some of us, it's in our heart. Some of us, it's in our head. It's like fuzzy, wherever this is, where you're holding that you are wrong, that something about your body's wrong, that something about your life is wrong. Let's go ahead and gather all of that, just like wrangle it, and then let's transmute it, which just means to change it from all that solid and dense and heavy and lies and judgment. And let's just change it to pure energy again. Let's transmute it to pure energy so we can have more space and more of what's true for us, and expand, expand, expand. So all of that can be a lot easier to navigate moving forward. There's nothing wrong with you, my friend. Now, what do you truly desire? Because I'm wondering from what you're saying, if what you think being a woman and being you needs to be is actually what you truly desire, or what you've decided you need to desire to be on this planet, to be in your family, to be with your partner, whatever this is. Like, there's some conditions here that I would love to look at with you. So please let me know if you have some more information about that for us. I love the acknowledgement in the chat. Yes, awesome. Good for you. And congratulations on the new grandchild. Excellent. Yes, keep acknowledging what is showing up and what you've created this year. I love it. I would love celebrating with y'all. Okay. How to get rid of toxic ties with loved ones and those who are deceased. Whew, yeah. So there's a lot we can talk about with this one. For you right now, and this isn't how I would always guide someone who has this going on with family members who've passed away, is the thing that's coming up is I actually want you to ask if it's only your family members that you're aware of that are disembodied, that are entities, or if it's actually many different disembodied people and things and animals that you're aware of. Okay. So let's actually get the energy of all of it. Because as soon as you're like, you decide that it's only this, it's only my ancestors or these loved ones, you might be putting blinders to everything that's really there, that's trying to get your attention. And then are they all actually toxic, or is it a mix? So a lot of people, when you have a capacity with entities and the unseen, as many of us on this call and in our groups do, it's very tempting to go into conclusion and decide something about it and think that you have to clear all these entities versus having a conversation. Some of them would like to give you money, would find you clients, would love to help you find a partner that you're asking for and things like that. The new home, absolutely. All of those things are conversations with the unseen. And so it's not always about getting rid of them or dismissing them. And they're not all toxic ties. So those that are toxic ties, let's go ahead and let me talk with them. And anyone else who has entities in which they're ready to transition, where they're ready to let go of those ties, and you're ready to let go of those ties with them as well, I'm going to go ahead and speak with them. And I'm actually going to use the living and dying body process to clear them. All right, so how many of you are living? And how many of you are dying? How many of you are living? And how many of you are dying? How many of you are living? And how many of you are dying? And what would you like to choose now? And what would you like to choose now? And anything that doesn't allow that, with infinite ease your way, let's go ahead and transmute that down to pure energy and expand out and expand out and expand out. Okay. And so all of the residual energy from those entities that you cleared, let's go ahead and open up your crown and let it pour out your crown. And open up your feet, the energy pools of your feet, and let energy flow out your feet into the earth. So both directions, flowing out your crown, up and out your feet, down, like a lightsaber, like a double waterfall, like whichever image or energetics you would like with that. Okay. All right. How are your bodies? How's it going? Awesome. I'm so glad you're reconnecting with your body. That's beautiful. More of that in the world. How to stay in the acoustic vibration. Choose it. Choose it. Just keep choosing it over and over again. Like there's never really a point, especially as an aware being. I shouldn't say never, but even the people who are most conscious and they're most willing to be in the question, they're continually having to choose to be with their reality and with their body and being the acoustical vibration. Because at any moment, you can also choose not to be. All of those options are available to you. So just keep choosing it, my friend. And don't feel like there's anything wrong with you because you're having to keep choosing it. It's a muscle that you build over in time, and it gets easier and faster with time. For me, it's not that I'm never crunchy or I'm never sad or I'm never, stressed out. Absolutely. I had all of those this week and more. Okay. I can recognize it when I'm not myself and when I'm in those crunchy moments faster, and I can move out of it faster. So what if you didn't judge yourself for having those crunchy moments where you're not feeling what you know is true for you? And just keep choosing it, all right? And that's for all of us. And that's a great reminder for me too. Thank you for the question. Samuel, I love you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you sent this question in. Thank you for it, because I get that a lot of people are having this going on. So I experienced a situation where I did not manage to do what I was asked to for a trial for a job, maybe like a probation, I'm guessing, which reactivated this belief that I cannot do it. And there's this helplessness and shame, feeling like there's some real limitation. I lost my confidence in myself. So what can I do? I get it. There is a lot of things that, from relationships to not so great moments with work to health issues that'll come up that'll be like, I can't do this. Like, what's going on here? Like, I'm not good enough. Whatever that is. I've had that in the last month. I've had that multiple times over the last year. So thank you for your vulnerability with this. And I get that you're asking this for you and for so many other people that are listening to this call. So one of the first things that comes to mind when you ask, what can I do, is one, what you just did, which is recognize that that's something that's coming up for you. And ask a question like, what else can I do here that I haven't already tried? So you already took the first steps. Now, what else? To build up confidence, one of the things that I really love to start with is for you to start looking at the places where you are rocking it, where you are really successful, where you feel like it's something that you can do well. And it doesn't have to be related to this area like work. It could be like, oh, wow, I make a really amazing grilled cheese sandwich. I don't know why grilled cheese sandwich came to my head. I haven't had a grilled cheese sandwich in years because I haven't been having cow's milk for a while. And I refuse to have grilled cheese with other cheeses. I want my cheddar cheese grilled cheese sandwich like yesterday. So Now I'm drooling. But whatever those things, it could be like, oh my gosh, I'm really amazing at caring for my friends. I am, really, I have a really fun time when I'm dancing. Whatever it is that you do have confidence in, find those one or multiple things. I think with each of us, we at least have one. Everyone has at least has one thing that they know they can do well confidently. And then go ahead and start applying and flowing that energy to this, and remind yourself of what it's like to have that confidence. The other thing is to also start looking at different things that you can do that you've never done before, that by you putting yourself out there in your comfort zone, like, I don't know, take a trapeze class, or go kayaking for the first time, go to a new restaurant and try food that you never would have imagined trying before. And by you taking a risk, that's not really a risk, but it just being more comfortable doing that, you start seeing how failure isn't the opposite of success. I just was reminded about this. They mentioned this in a show called Queer Eye, where there's these 5 gay men. Some of them aren't actually consider themselves gay. Some consider themselves gender fluid, but in the description, it says 5 gay guys, and they go and they make over someone's life and someone's home. And one of them, the cultural guru, said, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of success. And I love that perspective, because this is just a part of your success story. It's not actually that you failed. And so as soon as you start reframing what happened and looking at it from, oh, this is just a part of my success story, this was actually worked out because I obviously didn't want that job. It wasn't the one for me. Next, onward and upward. Now, what am I going to do? It starts to shift your mindset so that you can start looking at the what else and putting yourself out there again. But this applying where you are confident to where you're not feeling so confident right now is going to go a long way. And knowing you, I know you have a lot of gifts and capacities that you can do this with. Okay. Let me know if you have any further questions about that. And again, thank you for that question. Okay, we're moving on to health and body questions. We're through most of the questions. I'm doing really well. We got a couple more minutes. We got like 10 more minutes. So Regina, thank you for the question. How to overcome all of the pains? Whew. And another question was sent in, Dominique, how to cure and heal depression. Celia, how can someone, I don't know if it's you, how can someone stop smoking without compensating with addiction? So all of these are health and wellness. Okay, cool. I see your hands up. I'm going to get to you in one moment. Thank you. With the health and wellness, for all of these, depression, pain, and you all know, well, most of you know, I used to have chronic pain, like 10, 15 years of chronic pain. I used to have chronic anxiety and depression. I was having insomnia where I would only sleep 3 or 4 hours a night. I hadn't had any addictions that most people would consider addictions, except for being addicted to choosing people that were emotionally distant or that were really needy. They would go from needy to emotionally distant, which is a super fun polarity. So I was addicted to that. I was addicted to being needed for a very long time. For all of these, it's about touching base with your body and having a conversation with your body, because for each body, it's going to be a little bit different. What worked for me to deal with my pain was to recognize the gifts and capacities that I had with the earth, with bodies, and with pain. I am amazing at being aware of people's pain of all kinds. And so I would unconsciously grab it and bring it into my body, creating pain for me and not necessarily helping the other person. Most of the time, it wasn't stopping them from having pain. Okay. So how many of you with your mental pain, physical pain, spiritual pain are actually pulling that out of other people and creating that with your body? All right. And so anywhere that you're doing that, will you please transmute that down to pure energy and expand out, expand out, expand out. And expand out, expand out, expand out. Another great resource for the stopping smoking. One, ask your body what would help. One, ask if you actually really want to stop smoking. I've worked with people to help them stop addictions, but it was only when they really truly desired to stop it, and not because they were saying that they wanted it because everyone else was telling them that they should stop doing that. So when you're really truly ready to stop it, and it's from you, your actual choice, and not a projection from other people, then let's have a conversation about that, because I'd love to support you in meeting that target. Okay. Yes, I don't see your name, but I see that your hand's up. It just says your phone, like your device. Do you want to unmute and ask a question, or do you want to put it in the chat?
Hello. No, I'd like to ask a question personally.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
Well, I really don't know what is this meeting all about, because I received the mail and I just registered myself. So I don't know your in reference to access consciousness, or which modality are you teaching, or what are you talking about? Because I see a lot of similarity when you say about transmuting the energy, and when you say about expanding. So these are all terms that I'm aware of, but I would like to know, what are you referring to? Which modality are you referring to?
So great. And you came in after I explained it, so no worries. So I absolutely use access consciousness tools. I love it. I am an access consciousness practitioner. I used to be a certified facilitator of access consciousness for years. And when I use the access consciousness clearing statement, I say, and that's the access consciousness clearing statement, because people come from so many different backgrounds. The clearing that you are referring to, transmute it all down to pure energy and expand out, comes from the living and dying body process, which is an energetic body process that I created, that is all about unlocking where you're aware of where people are killing their bodies, destroying their futures, where they are locking in that awareness into their body or into their reality that prevents them from actually living their way. And it also talks about how dying isn't what we've been told either. And we have two classes coming up, one January 15th and one February 20th, that we mention all the information for it at the beginning of this call, and you'll get the replay with all that information in addition to links in the replay email, okay, since you registered.
So this is not access consciousness. This is a different modality.
This particular clearing, yes. So for me, I use all of them. We have Tantra, we have shamanism, we have access consciousness, we have the living dying body process. We've talked about theta healing. It's a super inclusive group, and my business and how I function is super inclusive. So depending on what's going to create the most, we might use any old kind of clearing. And that's one of the Soaring Beyond Definition, like part of how we soar beyond definition together, is we'll use whatever tool and energy that's going to create the most.
So you seem to be my tribe, because even I have done theta healing, I've done reconnection, I've done access consciousness, I've done star magic, I've done everything. And now I want to undo everything. And I want to start from being me. That's it, you know?
Great. And what if all of those energies are in modalities are energies that are at your disposal? So that's part of it, is after a while, you realize you are shamanism, you are Tantra, you are access consciousness, you are all of these and more, you know?
I am God. I just feel I'm God now. I mean, that's it. There is no God outside of me.
I love it. And if that works for you, cool. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
One thing I wanted to ask you is, I've been told I have great capacities with entities, and yes. I don't see them or I don't feel them, but I just know. And if I just do the entity clearing, I just know that I've cleared a lot of them onwards, you know?
Yes.
Onwards. But the only thing is, I don't know, I'm at a point of my life where I'm aware of everything. I know everything. I'm in the unknowing of everything, but I don't want to do anything. I just want it to flow. I just want life to flow. Let it go wherever it has to go. I'm in that kind of a mode, you know.
Mm-hmm. So what's
So,
your question exactly?
so my question is, sometimes I get very, mm, very tied in my own freedom of flowing. It's very funny. I get tied in my freedom of flowing. You know what I mean? Because I go so much with the flow that sometimes I feel, what the hell? Where am I going actually? Because I don't know where I'm flowing. I just flow. Theta healing came up, I did the theta healings. Reconnection came up, I did the reconnection. Access consciousness came up. I've just kept on doing everything, just flowing with everything. And
Mhm.
now I don't know where the flow wants to go.
Okay. So there seems to be a mix, and this isn't uncommon. I've actually heard this for a couple different people. As humanoids, as people who are dreamers and seekers, we love to learn new things and get new tools and be around these wonderful high vibrations of people that are asking questions and flowing with the energy. Now, what I invite you to is to get clear on how you can use your unique gifts and capacities to create something in the world. And it could be, like we mentioned before, a grilled cheese sandwich, or it can be like a podcast. It can be a book. What would be fun for you that when you think about it is like, oh my gosh, it lights you up, and the energy of it is super expansive for you. So it might not be something that you get right away right now, but that's to look at, because there's one thing about like learning all these different things, but then it's also about instituting things in the world so that you feel like, okay, I'm using this that I've been learning. I'm learning. And then now what? What do I do? And for each of us, it's going to be a little bit different. And you don't have to choose any one thing. That's why my coaching program is called Choosing It All Your Way. You don't have to choose any one modality. You don't have to choose any one job, any one way of showing up. But when it comes to what you would really like to see in the world, if you're like, I would like to see world peace, I would like to see more people being aware of their bodies, I would like to see a greater honoring of the earth, whatever that is, as soon as you start with what you would like to see, then you start backtracking to what are the breadcrumbs of where you're at right now that can start creating that in the future.
Okay, great.
Does that
Because
help?
yeah, because I've been told that I'm very intuitive, I'm very powerful. A bit of healing that I do, people are very happy with it, but then I just don't do anything.
Yeah.
That's my hit. I just don't do anything.
Well,
I don't
and
know
is that
why. I
what
just
you
don't
would
do
like
anything.
to do? Like it's one thing to be acknowledged, and I love being acknowledged for things. But if it's not something you'd like to do more of, then it's not really going to be congruent with this bigger thing. It might not be a big enough ask for you. Like a lot of us, when we're like kind of feeling complacent, it's because whatever we're about to create, it's like, oh, I'm going to create this. It's like, it's not really getting me juicy goosey enough. That's why we like being around big groups of those classes and those, because it's so big. The energy is not just us, it's all these other people. So what's going to be that really big ask that will light you up to be like, all right, I get to do this now? Yes. Woo! And that's part of why I have so many different businesses and I like to create so many different things at once, because and if it's just one or two things, I don't even want to get out of bed. If I only have one or two appointments in the day, I'm like, I can just do that tomorrow, because I know
Right.
I can create so much in a day. So part of what I'm getting with you, and this is applying to a bunch of other people on this call, so thank you for this, is add more things. That's what living is about, is to add in the things, the people, the spaces that will create more. And dying is letting go of the things, removing the things, the judgment, the lies, the baloney that's like we're distracting us, that will, when you let it go, will create more. So that's how dying is different than what we've been told and what we get into with the living and dying class. But there's also tasters. Check out the tasters for the class as well if you're not as familiar with it yet. And the link for the class is right in my website, and I can put that in the chat for you. All right,
Okay.
let's get to our last. You're most welcome. Thank you. Let's get to I think we have one more question, and then we'll go from there. And then again, follow up. We have 10 consultation spots available before the end of the year. So in the last 2 weeks here, we have 10 spots if you want to grab one of them. And the consultations are just $50 US. So we might try to make it really affordable, and it's 45 minutes, like we mentioned before. This last couple questions sent in, you guys are amazing. I'm so happy that we were able to get through all these questions. I hope that you have found this time together a contribution, and I just love what we've created in 2021, and I can't wait to see what we create together in 2022. This last question is from Monique, and I get that it's from her and for a whole bunch of other people. So what would it take for me to be able to take off financially? Take off. Yes. Well, one of the biggest things, we have the Money Your Way group, and right now it's only in English for English participants. But if there is an ask for this in other languages, we're going to look at that. We talk about different themes, including money, and the expansive energies groups that we have in French. And I know that you speak French. So one of the things to start off with when it comes to finances is to get very, very clear on what's currently coming in and what's currently going out. And a lot of people say this, but one of the things that a lot of people don't consider is when it comes to money inflows, you're probably receiving a lot more money than you realize, from gifts to free rides to different places, vacations, when you've won a raffle, when you have received energy from the earth, and that's money because money comes from the earth. Really write all of that down and look at that and acknowledge it, because if you're in the story of, I don't have enough money, I suck at money, I'm never receiving money, remember, your body's listening. We talked about it earlier. It's listening. It's like, oh, okay, that's what's happening. So that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to create as your reality. And that's not actually your financial reality. That's not actually what's true for you. So start with that. For those of you that are in between jobs as well right now, look at what money you're receiving that isn't from your job, in addition to those little jobs that you might be getting as you're getting the one that's going to be a lot more money. What would be the characteristics of the job that you would like that hasn't shown up yet, but that is like waiting for you to call to it? Hello. And it's like, oh, you rang? Okay, now I'll come. Get clear on that. All right. So that's a great place to catapult you and take off with your finances, is to get clear on what money you currently have. And then the other piece is to look at where you're putting blinders, like what aspects of money do you need to educate yourself about? Is it investing? Is it saving? What are the limiting patterns that you have with money that need to change? Okay. And if you'd like a consultation about this, snatch up one of the 10 spots before they go. Okay. So those are, I'm double checking. Are those all of our questions? Scroll, scroll, scroll. Those are all the questions sent in. I'm checking the chat. Are those all the questions from the chat? I put the link to the Living and Dying Body Process page in the chat. If you want to check it out. And again, we still have the tasters. Many of you already have participated in the tasters. You have them in your inboxes. Use those tools. They're there for you. And use these tools, that all these replays and things that you've purchased from me and from other people in the past, you invested in yourself. Use them. Like, listen to them again. Use those tools and then replenish so that your body has ease with all of the space you're going to create with that. So good. And we'll let you know when is the spring. We have our winter call. Today's the winter call. The next one will be in the spring, most likely in March. So we'll let you know when the spring call will be. We'll have a summer, we'll have a fall, and another winter one. We're going to rock this out all next year. I'm hoping that you're liking these seasonal calls, and we'll also continue to have our classes. Please go ahead and keep playing around with our questions in our Soaring Beyond Definition group and our Facebook group. If you have any questions about any of the Academy of the Seen and Unseen groups, where it's the Expansive Energies group, the Virtual Writing Retreat, the Money Your Way group, please go ahead and message me directly or message anyone that connected you to this call. More likely they're one of the fantastical creature crew, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you so much, and have a happy holidays, a happy new year, and I will see you soon.